Hello and welcome to the Health Leader podcast. I am your host today, Christine Knox. Join me as we speak to a very special massage therapist, Gael Wood. Now, Gail has been inducted into the World Massage Hall of Fame. She's been on the cover of Massage Magazine. She is an entrepreneurial massage therapist, business coach, marketer, connector, and deeply caring therapist that is here to share her wisdom, her story, and I am delighted to introduce you to her. Hello and welcome to Health Leader Podcast. My name is Christine Knox, and today we have Gael Wood with us, all the way from the USA. Gail is amazing in the world of massage. She is a trainer, an educator, and a therapist. So, welcome, Gail, to the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to have a chat.
Yeah, great. Would you like to introduce yourself? Just tell our listeners a little bit more about you, Gail.
Yeah, so I'm located in North Carolina in the USA. I'm up in the mountains, and I've been a massage therapist for 28 years and an esthetician for over 20 years. So in 2013, I started kind of getting an itch that I was ready to step into the next phase of my career after having worked for other people in spas and resorts. And then I owned my own company for several years. And then I was in transition again. And I just saw people doing all this great stuff online. I started seeing these ebooks and, classes. And I thought, I think I'd like to have a piece of that. I think I'd like to get involved. So I had long wanted to teach continuing education, and I did some training and I taught in a massage school in preparation to start teaching. But, seeing things kind of open up in the online space really sparked something in me for how I could do that from like a little town of 800 people in the mountains.
Yeah.
Not a lot of massage therapists there to come to trainings.
Okay, I'm going to take you back in time a little bit at the moment and just ask you, why did you get into massage in the first place? What sparked that interest for you, Gail?
So I'm not one of these people that just felt a calling or thought I always knew that I wanted to do something like this. I was done with high school. I wasn't really feeling any particular college track. And so I was working at a bed and breakfast. Yeah. And I liked my job, but I definitely did not want to cook and clean and be an innkeeper forever. Yeah. And we had a massage therapist that would bring her table and come and massage the guests. And I was looking and I was like, looks like she's making pretty good money over there. And I got to talking to her, and she asked me if I would like to have a massage in exchange for cleaning her house. So I did that, and she gave me a massage. She had the nicest room and the essential oils, and it was the most amazing thing ever. And I just said, that's what I want to do. So, wow. And I found a school a few weeks later, and that was it.
I went for it. Yeah. And how old were you then, Gail? When did you kind of embark on this new, this career? In fact?
Yeah. So I was only 18. Wow. And it was it was kind of big for me to go 8 hours away from home and go to school for a year for a massage. But I knew the school I wanted to go to as soon as I heard that it existed, because I went to the Casey Riley School.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever heard of Edgar Casey, but he was a psychic.
So tell me more about this.
So he was a psychic medium who channeled for people with health problems.
Oh, wow.
And he would often advise massage protocols and things. And so this was back in the 1940s. And he worked with a doctor, Dr. Riley, to implement his readings. And it
Yeah,
was a
okay,
lot of
cool.
health and diet and exercise and massage. And so they had like, I mean, you can picture back in the 1940s, it's like a big, I want to call it a sanatorium, but I don't think that's the proper name, but a big building with rooms right on the beach in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
And people would come for several weeks at a time and, and work on their health. And so that's all, in the past, but now it's a massage school in a center that still studies his readings and his teachings.
Wow, that's
So
so amazing.
I had been
Yeah,
reading some books about him and just kind
yeah.
of was like, this is kind of cool. And then I found out there was a massage school. So I was like, well, that's definitely where I'm going.
Wow. So you had to leave home and
Mhm.
travel away and live
Yes.
away from home.
Yeah.
And that was like your first time like adulting away from home?
It was. So, I mean, I had been living on my own in an apartment, but,
Yeah.
like in my
Okay.
hometown. So, yeah, that was definitely my first time adulting.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of my 18-year-olds and thinking, yeah, they haven't quite got to that stage yet.
Yeah.
They're almost adulting. So that's really amazing. Really amazing. And the school there was did they focused on body work and things
Yeah,
and
yeah. It
all
was
of
it
the
was pretty
usual.
much a
Yeah,
regular massage school, but we had a couple of classes about um,
about all of
the Edgar Casey home remedies and things like that. Yeah.
the founder. Yeah, wow. That's so cool. I love that. I absolutely love that. And since then, where did that take you?
Well, I came back home. I actually didn't
Yeah.
love it there. So I came back home as quick as I could, and I got my job back at the bed and breakfast. I didn't quite
Yeah.
know what to do, but they said, "Well, if you come back to work here, you can do all the massages." That seemed like a pretty good deal, and that worked out really well for me because I was able to get some experience and not have to worry about all the business building parts and pieces.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was kind of
Which is
funny
good.
because, in the morning I'd be like serving the breakfast, and I'd be cleaning the rooms, and then it'd be time for a massage, and they'd be like, "Oh, it's you again." I do
You're
those
like, yes, multi-talented.
too.
And for how long did that kind of continue, Gail?
Well, that was maybe for a year or two. It was seasonal. And then through
Yeah.
the owner of the bed and breakfast, she was getting facials at a day spa in town and introduced me to the owner there. And that's when I ended up working at a spa for several years and going to esthetician school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fantastic. And then what was the catalyst for going into the education side of things?
I just always like to have variety in what I do. And so again, you see the magazines and you get the catalogs of courses. And I've been training people at my own spa to do the different services that we offered. And I just thought it would be something that, that I would really enjoy. Um, Once I went off on my own and I started my own business with a friend, is when I really was like, oh my goodness, I see what I don't know about business and marketing and all of those things. But I just kept listening to audios and buying classes about marketing, and I just loved it. I think that a lot of therapists don't love marketing.
Yeah, it's a learning curve, isn't it? And
Yeah,
I think when it clicks, you can appreciate it.
yeah,
And also that spotlight on I discovered what I didn't know. I
yeah.
think that's a pivotal moment for many massage therapists and body workers.
Yeah, and that was
Do
that
we
was huge for me
Yeah,
to work on my
yeah.
mindset and even get comfortable promoting myself and, like, selling products and services. I hadn't really realized that was a big part of being a massage therapist.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think that's also another blind spot. Should we call it a
mhm,
blind spot in our industry where we're not really taught a lot about business in school,
yeah,
or at least in the UK and in Australia, that is fairly true. We're given a basic knowledge, and usually it's more from an employer
yeah,
kind of point of view, I would think, or perhaps a customer point of view rather than
mhm,
a business entrepreneurial point of
yeah.
view. But I've been following you for a while, Gail, and you're very entrepreneurial. I love that you love variety because that is actually shows quite a lot when I look at the variety of things that you have done in the past and are doing currently. So I'm curious as to the steps you took to discover that you liked variety, and then how you kind of lean into that and allow yourself to do more of what you enjoy. So can
I
you
think
help
I've
us
I think
understand
I've always become, kind of been easily, I don't know, bored. I've
that?
always liked to do a lot of different things. So, I think it was I sold my spa when I had my
Uh-huh.
son, and I was just working at a job again. It was a good job at a resort. I liked what I was doing, but I really missed having my own thing to work on and try stuff and see what worked and what didn't work and the marketing pieces of it and everything. And so, yeah, I decided to start a blog. I wanted to just share everything I'd learned so far in through having my own business. And at that time I had 15 or 16 years of experience, and I thought, you know what? I think a blog would be a good kind of fun side project for me. So I wasn't just
Right.
working and being a mom. I wanted like my own thing. But being me, it just kept going and going and going.
It grew legs.
Yes. So, and I thought, if I have a blog and a website, maybe I can sell a book, ebook, or a course. But every step of the way, you know, is a new challenge because I had a story in my head that I'm not good at writing.
Ah.
And so, I got to work on that story and overcome that. And now my
Yeah.
story is I'm a competent writer, but that's good
So
enough.
what that's really interesting, and I love that you say the story in my head because we all have those stories in
Mhm.
our heads. So how did you rewrite that story, Gail? What did you do?
Well, I was taking some courses, on how to do online business, and once you get into the online business world, I mean, there's a million people that will tell you what's wrong with you and how you can fix it. But this one lady that I had been following, her name's Leonie Dawson. She's Australian, actually. Um,
Yeah.
she kind of had a really good like step by step program, and it was just something that she kind of discussed, and I was like figuring out what your stories are and where they might have come from. And once I realized where that story came from, I was like, well, that is the dumbest thing ever. It was just a comment that a teacher made to me when I was in high school. She didn't like a paper I wrote, and somehow I took that comment from that teacher that was having a bad day and decided to make it my life story. But once I
Yeah.
realized that's what I had done, I was able to flip it pretty quickly.
That's awesome.
So
That's
I
incredible. We
was gonna say it's
really
always worth it, I
hear
think, to
that.
do that digging
Yeah.
around.
You gotta do the digging, gotta do the deep work to
Yeah,
find out, how have I made this my identity
yeah,
for now? Yeah,
yeah,
and it's
because
the being yeah.
I could see where I wanted to go, and I was like, ebooks and blogs are a big part of this business that I want to do. So I have to get over this. I have to figure it out and get over it. But, and I did it step by step too, because I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not a good enough writer to write a whole book, but I could write a blog post, like 3 ways to do X. So I kind of just went step by step.
That's fantastic. And turned out that people read your blogs and liked
Mm-hmm.
what you were sharing.
Yeah.
And then the next step in that was even more sharing.
Yes. So,
Yes.
and I had a foundation of just kind of sharing for almost 2 years online before I really started selling anything. Um, so I feel like that's something a lot of people who are maybe transitioning from the treatment room to online don't have the patience. Because if you show up for 6 months every day, you're like, oh, something should be happening. But it takes time. It really does.
It really does. It really does. I think in our fast-paced world as well, our expectations are things should move faster.
Yeah.
Perhaps we fall into that trap. And yet showing up every day is kind of how it happens, isn't it, Gail?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
and that's why, I kept my day job. It was my side project. So that, to me was my fun thing, my own thing that I was doing for fun. So,
And that's also a big part of how to make a business that you love is
mhm,
to do stuff you enjoy
yeah.
as well. So share with us a little bit about the actual online offerings that you have at the moment. Like what are you sharing at the moment with people? Sorry.
So, well, currently I'm sharing an amazing summit.
Speak to us about that. What's the summit about,
So
Gail?
the summit is a business and marketing summit, and I have 20 great speakers like
Mm,
James from Health
right.
Leader Co. and lots of other just people in the industry that have something valuable to share. Um, I'm kind of feeling like that's the next version of my business is I want to connect the therapists that need help with the people that can help them.
Yeah.
So, and because
Very
I
cool.
see these great coaches that are out there, you know, that they've got a nice website but they're just not reaching the people that really need them. In my
Yeah.
last summit, I had a Facebook group for my last summit and I made a post. I said, "What are you struggling with in your business and marketing?" And every post I read, I was like, "Oh, well, Kelly could coach you on that, or so and so could coach you on that." And it doesn't have to be coaching; it could be, buying a book or a home study course. So I think that's a mindset block that we can get into is, oh, if I can't afford a coach, I can't get help. But there's so many different ways to find resources and get help.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last summit you did, you connected hands-on therapists
Mhm.
with hands-on providers of education, hands-on
Mhm.
education. So
Yeah.
that was beautiful. That was such a beautiful group. And I was like reading the comments and all the therapists introducing themselves. So you really have a talent for creating community, Gail. So I actually really love that. And I'm sure that the marketing summit will be the same. It will be a beautiful community of like minded therapists that are coming together to share knowledge
Yeah.
and ways to help each other. Definitely. When we think about the summits and things like that, what is the lasting purpose that you feel that will come from that? Like, what's the bigger picture idea, do you think?
Yeah, so my bigger picture ideal for it is to make those connections. I've just met so many amazing people online.
Yeah.
I like group projects. I like big projects.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm hoping to do events for the foreseeable future And I mean, for me, it helps me to build my online business, my email list, and hopefully, people who join my list will want to take part in some of my group programs or home study courses. So that's kind of the um, one of the benefits of doing it. But I
Yeah.
think overall, yeah, I want therapists that are, feeling isolated or lonely or like, I don't know what to do next, whether it's, I don't know what modalities to learn to take my practice to the next level, or I'm not sure how to market myself. I'm not sure what prices to charge, to know who they can go to figure that out.
And that's so useful. I have definitely been in that space, like not knowing what to study, not knowing who to reach out to. In the UK, I had a very supportive network of massage buddies and
Yeah.
mentors. And then I moved to Australia and it was like, oh, I don't have anyone. So I was like on the lookout
Yeah.
for mentors and coaches and things. So luckily for me, I found Alicia Crook. Um,
Yes.
However, there's many people out there who just don't have that support system or network. So I think it's really valuable what you're doing. So thank you from the massage industry. I think it's awesome. So yeah, I
Well, and
really
it's so fun
appreciate
for
what
me
you're
because
doing.
I get to meet people like you, and and I just think it's just the more the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you take like an overview of your career to date, what
Mhm.
has been the biggest challenge that you have faced so far? I mean, there's probably been a few that you've overcome, definitely. I mean, like the story that you're telling yourself.
When I first had my first business, I definitely think it was that first year of being in a business and, having a slow couple of weeks and just that feeling of what have I done?
Yeah.
How am I going to fix this? Like, I have to fix this. I have to figure this
Yeah.
out. It was scary and motivating all at the same time. Um, and so, and that was really what kind of put me on the trajectory of marketing. I was a single mom. If I lost my business, I mean, I wasn't going to be homeless or in the street. My family wouldn't let that happen. But I was like, I have to go back to work for somebody else. I would feel like a step back for me, certainly. And so that was my motivation. I was like, you know what? All I can do is my very, very best to figure this out and to get my get my marketing going. And so I just, you know, I think I had some stuff from Eric Brown. I had materials that were actually for hairstylists. I had like general sales stuff. And then I don't know, something there's just it seems like when you make a decision like that, sometimes the energy just shifts. And I had a client just a few days after I kind of had that moment, um, who came in and he said, "You know what? Your brochure is terrible." And he owned a whitewater rafting company and he had these really cool full color brochures. And he was like, "I will trade you 24 massages to redo your brochure and have it professionally printed and have a photographer come take pictures." And I was like, "Yes, we will definitely do that." And so we got those brochures printed, and I was like, well, I guess what I could do is put them everywhere that I can think of. So we did that. We drove around for like 2 days. We put those brochures out in probably 100 places.
Wow.
And then the next week was like one of our big ski weeks, and my phone was ringing off the hook. That was too much. I was like, I did too much. But
So what did you do? Like, completely oversubscribed, from 0 to like max, you know?
yeah, so we all just did as much as we could. I actually had one therapist that lived further away, and he was like, I'll sleep here.
Wow.
So just because we knew it was that really busy week, and he was like, I'll just sleep
Yeah.
here and I'll do massages from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we just made the best of it. So I'm not sure I totally answered your question, but that was
No,
fun.
no, because what I hear there is like the planting of the seeds, taking the opportunities when
Mhm.
they arise, grabbing them with both hands and just being like, yeah, that involves like getting a photo shoot done, like
Yeah.
really putting yourself out there. Um, someone asking you all about your business so they can write the brochure
Mhm.
as well. So there's time and effort in there is what I hear. And also, once you have these gorgeous brochures, you didn't put them in a cupboard, Gail, right? You actually went, oh gosh, this is a thing that I can use to tell people to come and get a massage.
Yeah, and talk about
Yeah,
me getting out of my comfort zone, going to every business in town and saying, "Can I please put these brochures out?" But you know what that did? Also met like every business in town, and a lot of those people became my clients. So, and I
exactly.
was like,
Exactly.
"Oh, that's networking. Oh," things started to go click,
Oh,
click, click.
all these light bulbs are going
Yeah.
off in your yeah, absolutely. And that's like the start of that very start I hear again is you connecting. So you
Mhm.
connected with your client who then said, you know what? I like what you do. I see value in what you do. I'm going to do a trade with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of just being like, no, I need to be paid what I'm worth, blah, 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 you were like
Right.
prepared to trade to take advantage of that opportunity.
And
Yeah.
I think
So
that's the
someone,
mindset. I
yeah,
really do think that's the success mindset because I see a lot of people saying that. Like they would say 24 free massages, no way. But I was
exactly.
like, this guy has a very successful business and he's offering to help me. So it's no different than spending $2,000 to hire a coach. Really. It
Exactly.
was an investment that I was able to
Yeah.
make in myself because all he wanted was these.
Yeah, absolutely. So he actually saw a lot of worth in what you were doing. He saw a
Mhm.
lot of value in what you're doing. So sometimes I think when those sorts of opportunities come up, I agree. Some
Yeah.
people go, how cheeky, how rude.
Yeah.
I should have said no or
Right.
whatever. And then the next part of that is actually leaning in, being available for the photo shoot, writing the copy for the
Mhm.
brochure, cooperating with the help that has come to you.
Yeah.
And then once it's done and in your hand, not putting it in the cupboard, which I
Yeah.
see happen a lot. Like people go and make
Mhm.
beautiful vouchers and put them in a drawer.
Yeah.
A voucher is a tool. It's
Yeah.
not it's not drawer decoration. It's
Yeah, give
same
some
with the
away,
brochure.
make videos with
Yeah.
them.
Do lots, do things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the doing part, which is
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah.
super important part of this conversation too. Is like, yeah. And the busy season that you had afterwards as a product of, planting the seeds, doing the work, and then harvesting, all of that work came in at once. Yes, it was a lot of work. Yes, we went from like, 0 to max
Yeah.
overnight,
Yeah.
but we all leaned into that.
Mhm.
Yeah, you and your crew all leaned in, did the work, showed up, and reaped the benefit. And you probably made more than you would have spent on creating that brochures.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
think we
yeah.
definitely I at least made all my trade money back, and then, and then I did those brochures the whole time I had that business, different versions of
Yeah.
it. I did
Yeah.
nix one of his ideas. He wanted to have, like, me on the phone, like, "Call us," and I was like, "No, I'm not doing that."
Bridge too far. No, I
So
love that. I love that so, so much.
but it's exactly what you said. It's the doing, and what I always say is it doesn't matter, like, exactly what you do doesn't matter so much as just continuing to take action.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. But
Sometimes it's
it's
a
it's
miss,
just
yeah.
Keeping on, keeping on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So from that particular experience, what was your biggest sort of learning from that, do you think, Gail?
Just that it works. I was like, oh my
It
gosh, like,
works.
marketing works. So then I was just like, what else can I do? What else can I do?
That is so funny because honestly, I've had so many therapists tell me, well, I tried marketing. Marketing was a big thing. I
Yeah,
tried marketing and it didn't work. And I'm
right.
like, wow.
What did you
Okay.
try? How much did you try it? I always tell people
Yeah.
whatever it is you think you should do to market your business, do 10 times as much. And that's probably about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything that I read, people always, when I'm reading it, it's like, yeah, you're doing the right things. You just need to do more of them.
Do more
So more.
consistency. And yeah, I did quite a few things that didn't work. I did a TV ad that was the worst thing ever. Thank God it's not on YouTube or anywhere anybody can find it.
Yeah.
But then I'd have another hit. Like back then, before we didn't really have GPS, not everybody didn't have GPS in their cars. So we had these local maps and I put an ad on the map, and that was huge. But then as people started getting GPS in their cars, I'm like, why aren't my maps working? And that's like, oh, well,
Ah.
things change. So, you find something else to do.
And it's
So,
that adaptability as
mhm.
well. And what I hear in that as well is measuring.
Yeah,
So yeah. So anytime we do marketing, to know if it works or not, we need to measure it.
yeah, yeah. But also, you have to give it enough time. I say, go for it for at least, a whole quarter. Like,
Yeah.
because some things take a few weeks to start working. Sometimes people need to see your stuff a few times
Yeah.
um, to before they
Absolutely.
take action. So yeah,
Absolutely true. Absolutely
but
true.
and I'm
But
I learned that I liked I liked writing the ads. I liked
uh,
wondering like, are these words going to work to get somebody to come in? Like I kind of started geeking out on that.
I love that too. I love that you geeked out on it and that you're like, yeah, I put my hand up to that for sure.
Yes.
That's so fun.
It
Um,
almost makes you feel like you have magical powers. You're like, ooh, I could write these things and make people do stuff.
so when I'm looking at things, sort of milestones that I notice, things like the Massage Hall of Fame, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, Perhaps explain just a little bit of an overview of what that is, and
Yeah.
then what
So
your involvement is.
in
Yeah.
the US, we have the World Massage Festival, which is a yearly gathering. There's a big vendor hall, and there's all kinds of great classes that you can take. And it's a really fun event with like activities every night. And so it's like a massage conference, but a really fun one.
Fun one.
um,
It's like let out your inner massage kid. Um,
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, anytime you get together with a big group of massage therapists, I think it's pretty fun because we're a nice bunch. And so Mike Hinkle started this, I think, back in the 90s. And he's somebody who I really look up to and see as an example because his first World Massage Festival, I think, had about 50 people.
yeah.
And what if he said, well, people aren't coming and he quit. And now it's over 1,000 people come every year. There's people from all different countries, and it's probably what he envisioned when he first started out. And so, one of the things they do there each year is I'm not sure exactly how many, but I think 8 to 10 people are inducted into the Massage Hall of Fame. And it's people that have made an impact on the industry. So, teachers, inventors, um, different leaders in the industry. So, I was super excited to be chosen. And I can see, though, I can see a direct line. I was I had my little blog and my little ebooks, and I was like, how can I reach more massage therapists and let more people know about what I'm doing? And I contacted Massage Magazine.
Yeah.
And I said, could I write a blog post for you? And the editor went to my website and she had a look around and she said, oh, well, we want to put your article in print. And of course, I immediately had a mini heart attack because I didn't think I was a good writer. And so I wrote for them for several years. And then I thought, oh, how else could I show up and get my stuff in front of more therapists? So I got a booth at the World Massage Festival for a few years. And that's probably how they started being like, oh, who's this person with this booth, and following my stuff and noticing what I was doing. After I wrote for Massage Magazine for a few years, they said, did I want to be a Massage Magazine all-star? And so I was on the cover of Massage Magazine, and it was all like came together. Like I started my blog in 2013 and all of that was in like 2019. And I was like,
Yeah.
what is going on?
It's so good. It's so awesome. I love it. It's so good. Yeah.
But
And like
yeah, it was,
coming from the UK, Massage Magazine was a magazine that we would kind of fight to get a hold of. We had like a subscription at the massage school, and
mhm.
we would all be like, oh, have you seen this? Oh, have you seen that? Oh, have you read this? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought this was great. So it was a magazine that I was aware of when I started my massage career. Um, and it was one that we're like, it was a
Yeah, I mean, I
publication
remember
run with
looking through it in massage
yeah,
school and seeing all these
yeah,
people. I thought, oh, they're so cool. Look at
I
what all these
know.
people are
And
doing.
then and then how do you feel seeing yourself on the cover, Gail? That's
It was super
just
fun. That was really fun.
yeah, so good. So good. I think that's just wonderful. And the Hall of Fame as well. So congratulations with that. It's really fantastic. So well done.
Well, and my Hall of Fame pictures, if you see them, I have on a tie-dye dress because it was tie-dye day at the festival. And I went to that Hall of Fame reception and awards, and everybody else was dressed to the nines. Like suits and black dresses. And I was like, oh, I thought we were still doing tie-dye day.
You missed the memo. The black tie
I
memo.
missed all the memos.
Oh no. But, you know,
It's
owning
fun.
it in your tie-dye dress. That's awesome. That's so cool. So I think we've had a great conversation about some of the challenges, some of the great achievements, some of the learnings, and a touch of the advice. Is there any other advice you would give, say, to new therapists just starting out on their career path as massage therapist? What would you say to them?
I would really say to listen to yourself. Don't second guess yourself. There's so much information out there now. It's really, pick a path and try that out, because I think there's a lot of procrastination just because we can't decide what to do and how to market your business or how to, do the next step. So really, I would say pick something, do that thing, test it out, see if it works for you or not, because what works for somebody else may or may not work for you.
True story.
And it's great to get advice, but I would, do focus on one or two things at a time, get those situated, and then move on.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like layers, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
yeah. And if
and
we're
also
bouncing
being
around trying to
aware.
do all the things, we're
Yeah.
kind of doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly,
Like, get your
exactly.
website sorted. Spend a couple weeks
Get
on that and then take the next step, because if you're trying to do all the things,
mm,
it might all come together someday, but it's
yeah,
much better to go step by step.
I agree with the website stuff because
Yeah.
I personally always go to people's websites to
Yeah.
see what's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, even if you love social media and you're having fun with it, people are going to go from there to your website. So that's like your
Yeah.
foundation. So
Yeah.
build your
Absolutely.
foundation.
Yeah. That's great. Cool. And if people want to check out your courses and the summit and things like that, how do they find you, Gail?
Yeah, so my new website is called Elevate with Gael, GAEL.com. And I have a free ebook right on my homepage. So that's a good place to start. It's the Massage and Spa Success Guide. And then, of course, anybody who's participating in my summits will have links to those. So hopefully you'll be seeing us everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds awesome. The more massage therapists that step into having an abundant lifestyle and able
Mhm.
to create a career that helps others and creates a decent living for them. Yep.
Yeah, and I think
That's
we're
where
at a
I'm at.
great point in the industry. I
Yeah.
really think, our services are in high demand,
Yeah.
and I think we're in a really good place.
Yeah. I agree.
So it's exciting.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge and your story about your wonderful career so far. Um, I really appreciate it and wishing you the very best of luck with the summit as well. So I'm sure it's going to be a great success.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was very fun.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to the Health Leader podcast, hosted by James and Alicia Crook, together with Christine Knox, business coaches and modality mentors for massage and manual therapy. Elevate your hands-on skill and your practice to get incredible results at the Health Leader Co. Jump onto Facebook or Instagram and look for the Health Leader Co to connect. Also, please go to iTunes and rate us 5 stars so that even more people can access this podcast.